Exactly. Welcome to Bulls in Red. And a warm welcome to Bulls in Red, your RB Leipzig podcast in English, made in Leipzig, at home in Leipzig, and made for you wherever you are on this little planet. It's the Sunday after the El Plastico, which our team lost in a strange fashion, taking the lead 3 times and then losing it in the 87th minute. So we lost 4-3 at Hoffenheim. Still reading from that, so it's going to be a quick topic regarding that, but Richard will also take us through our next opponent, which is Internazionale Milano, and I can reveal it's not going to get easier. Richard, how are you today? Have you recovered?
Well, yes, Mario, I think you recovered from that poor performance. No, not yet, but the matches are coming so fast, so yeah, ain't got no time bothering much about this dreadful performance from yesterday anymore.
But there's one thing I do like to mention, and that is that interview that was done and conducted with Marcel Schäfer, the MD Sports of RB Leipzig. And the headline for this could be, "The clock is ticking." Sounds very dangerous. So after the game, Marcel Schäfer was asked, what is he unhappy with? Well, of course, he would be unhappy with the result, but he's very much unhappy with losing matches by squandering a lead. And that has happened too often in this season. And what he also notices, and I guess what a lot of pundits and a lot of people who were watching this notices as well, as soon as RB Leipzig was leading, they are trying to sit back. They're not as forceful anymore. And I watched the highlights yesterday's match, and the commentator actually remarked that as well. So RB Leipzig was up, and then they were sitting back. Hoffenheim was equalizing, so RB Leipzig decided to play, and so on. But we know what the result was in the end. So what does Marcel Schäfer think needs to change? Well, he appreciates it when a team is in front, and that is really good. But then they have to hold on to it and not be careless as often as they have been already in this season. It seemed like they stopped fighting and lose focus. That definitely needs to change. I guess that's very obvious, isn't it? He is also asked if the players are mentally and physically not fit. Well, Marcel Schäfer thinks he has noticed anybody being unfit. So they are actually fit, according to his view. I thought that was interesting. He was also asked if it is time for the coaching staff to start delivering. But he actually expands that. He does say that the whole club needs to deliver. They need to start to get rid of deficiencies that he's seen. They need to be addressed, and they have been addressed already. But things need to be done in a very much different way. And this will then lead to positive results again. So here's the big question. Is the position of Marco Rose up for debate? Well, normally it wouldn't be. That's what he says. Normally it's not, but at the moment the situation is not normal. What do you read into this? I guess we can read into that, whatever we want. But Marcel Schäfer hopes that they, and I guess he means the coach, the team, himself, the management, are able to find the right solutions and that the situation will improve. So at the moment, no clear indication where this is going. That's the way I read it. So what's the focus? Well, the focus is on the next match, and that's it for the UCL match at Milan. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, because he believes, okay, it's always a challenge when you come out of a bad situation like it is at the moment, but RB Leipzig should never be written off, and it can happen quickly that things are turned around. I really commend the man for his optimism. At the moment, I don't see it. Do the players rely too much on their quality, is also asked. And in his views, remember, he's played for Wolfsburg before. He thinks that playing for a Bundesliga club in the Bundesliga and playing for such a great club as RB Leipzig, that this is the best job in the world, which is really interesting. However, he claims that the clock is ticking and one should not throw away a match or a whole year. He's quoted to have said, "We should urgently change one thing or another. And also for the sake of the boys, that should be done. And we're not only careless with the games, but also with ourselves." Very interesting. So that was the sort of immediate reaction after the match. We will keep an eye on it. We are very much aware of the fact that things can change very quickly, especially after Tuesday. And in our next episode, which we'll probably publish on Friday, we will have a little bit more about that. So, Richard, I know it's dreadful, but we need to talk about our next opponent.
Internazionale is the word. Inter Milan. So I think the international name is just Inter, because the other club from this famous city is Milan. So in Germany we often say Inter Milan, but I think the international correct term is just Inter. Well, if you ask me how to describe this squad with one word, experience. All right?
Dangerous.
As always. Others would say old, but no, it's experience. That club, and particular the fashion and the roster is set together. The opposite couldn't be wider than the model that RB Leipzig does. So listen, they got in total, and it's incredible, 11 players that are 30 years and older, and they're all veterans, like number 22, Henry Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, remember the guy.
Yeah, he played for Dortmund earlier, and he played in Premier League too, and he's now 35 years old, and he's the pivotal point in the midfield.
Is he? He's pivotal point?
Yeah,
okay.
He is. Another one is Jan Sommer.
Oh, yeah, we will all know.
That rings a bell?
Yeah.
Gladbach, Bayern.
I actually like him.
Me too. 35 years old as well. Number 36, Matteo Darmian, 34. Francesco Acerbi, number 15, is 36. And then number 11, who just replaced Lautaro Martinez in the most recent game at Verona, is 30 years old as well. And on top of that, they got number 6, Stefan de Vrij, 32 years old. Number 7, Piotr Zielinski, 30. Number 8, that rings a bell too, I guess. It's Marco Arnautovic, 35 years old. Marco Arnautovic, when he was with Bremen, wasn't das hier für ein Saftladen?
Exactly.
Could you please translate that for our international guys?
What kind of lousy place is this? To be honest, I remember him for that big miss versus Germany in one of the matches when Austria played Germany.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a clear open goal opportunity and he bottled it. I can't believe it. But other than that, dangerous player.
Oh, of course. Although he's just in a rotation and in the player who is not in the usual starting 11 for Inter, but nevertheless, the thing is he has lots of experience. Yeah. And to complete the list, it's number 99, Mehdi Taremi, 32-year-old, a Iranian player who played for, I don't know, I think he was in Spain before. Yes, and as I said, 11 players in total, huge experience. And to put this into perspective, do you know how many players RBL got that are older than the age of 30?
A lot less than 11.
A lot less, yes, it's 5.
5, okay.
And one of them is Zingerle. So, Gulaschi, Kampel, Orban, Paulsen, this is it. And on the other end of that scale,
okay.
On the other end of that scale, there are 6 players on Inter's roster who are younger than 25. And 3 of them are just youngsters who didn't play a minute in all competition this season so far, so you can keep them out. So that means in total there are only 3 players younger than the age of 25. And this is number 31, Jan Aurel Bissek. Mm-hmm. It's a 23-year-old German guy, actually, who is, I think he's from Cologne and then played some years in the Dutch league, I guess it was, and somewhere else, I forgot it. And an interesting young Albanian guy, and number 21, Christian Aslani, 22 years old. But the thing is, all of those, so those 2 and the other one is number 42, Thiago Palacios, played altogether 851 minutes in all competition for Inter so far.
Mm-hmm.
And tell you what, just besides the fact that we got 13 players that are younger than 25, Lois Openda alone has more minutes than 851, actually 1,264 in all competitions.
Okay.
And this is, the differences between the idea how to build a roster to be successful. And yeah, this is something regarding to, is the RBL model kaput, or is it the proper way to go for championships and winning titles? Well, I don't know, and I don't want to talk about this right now, but what I trying to emphasize here is you can have an mature squad, an almost retiring squad, and still be successful. And I think it's fair to say that in some situations and somehow that might be somehow a bit easier to fulfill all those expectations, right? Okay, so that being said, who will we face on Tuesday night? So I don't know, but some two key players are not around. Number one is the number 10. It's Lautaro Martinez. Is likely out for Tuesday. He was with the squad in Verona, but then left the team and headed back to Milan with fever and vomiting. I didn't read an official statement from the club yet, but I think he will get another rest to recover completely, especially in this cupcake game. Also not around will be number 20 Hakan Çalhanoğlu, because he picked up a slight muscle injury during the international break with Turkey.
Shame. We'd like to see him, actually.
Yeah. So, but they have real threats. And first and foremost, I think it's their number 9. It's Markus Thuram. You know, a familiar name.
Familiar name, yeah.
Yeah, familiar name from the Bundesliga. 26-year-old now, former player for Mönchengladbach. Somehow found his way to much more efficiency compared to his time at Gladbach. 0.65 goals per game is way beyond his career average, and a real threat and strong attacker in the Italian league and in international duties as well. Yes, and it's not only him; it's the whole squad who is dangerous as hell, and it's not only the experience that I mentioned, it's also just the class. It's just the level that those players are individually is so much better, especially, the experienced players, not only, but there is Bastoni and Acerbi, though Acerbi had to take it off the field in the first half versus Verona. I don't think he will there on Tuesday night. But, this is all of those, or many of those, are either actual international players or for their particular countries, or former players for their countries. And with Simone Inzaghi as a gaffer on the sideline, it's going to be a heck of a job. And to be honest, a shaky team like RBL with young players, inexperienced players, and somehow off the how do you say that?
It feels like the wheels have come off, completely off track.
Off track, yeah, that was what I was looking for. They're just waiting for a club like this on Tuesday night and show anything they got. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a blowout and they are, the shooters off the park with like 6 or 7 goals. I don't know from where that come, but I have some Schalke vibes, regarding to the Schalke 7-0 that he once received at Man City. And, with the hindsight now, the look back, it was some kind of the spark from the downward spiral Schalke is still in. And I don't want to compare our club with Schalke, but, you have to be careful. You have to find ways to find methods to stop that. Mm-hmm. So because otherwise things could develop in a very different, in a very ugly way.
Do I remember this correctly? When Schalke lost 7-0 City, the coach Tedesco had to leave, didn't he? They fired him afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but that was a different time. But that is very uneasy listening. When I listen to you, it doesn't give me a lot of hope.
I really tried to figure out something, some ledge, some advantage to see here or find a way what we could do to win. But to be honest, there is none.
Okay. So the headline is
just none.
Uber experienced Italian team will have Rasenballsport Leipzig's youngsters who are insecure at the moment for breakfast. Not bad. To be honest, if you look at the this season's championship in Germany, we would say der Zug ist abgefahren. Loosely translating, the train has departed, so that ship Champions League has sailed for us actually at the moment. Still, what I hear from you, what my take is from what you said is it's still very dangerous if you just throw that game away in the sense of, conceding 8, 9, 10 goals, painting an even grimmer picture here, because that is going to have an effect at our performance and the whole situation of the club going forward. Wow.
Yeah, of course. And it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. So either way, it could happen that the lads are fighting for their lives and trying everything they can and get away with a minor severe loss like 0-3 or 4. Everything,
that is a clear loss, mate.
It's a clear loss, yes, of course. But if you fight as hell, then it's okay. Then it's okay to lose, and it's okay to lose by a wide margin.
Okay.
It's not okay to let things go and take the lead 3 times and losing anyways.
Yeah, be very careless. I agree.
But the other thing, I see a scenario, to be honest, that the team is somehow sick of their coach and thinking like, okay, that might be our chance here to show another poor performance. And then Marco Rose is not around anymore in the next game at Saturday versus Wolfsburg. Because
that is interesting thesis.
Yeah, and I tell you, it is a crisis, right? And there are so many numbers, and I don't want to repeat them all now, that clearly show that this development is not good. And we're now on a 4-game winless stretch, and we had 5-game stretch without a win. We had it already in our club history, and it was back in April 2018. And after those 5-game stretch without a win, there were 2 more games in the Bundesliga, and after that season, Ralf Hasenhüttl had to leave.
Oh, he's going to be back Saturday.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And if it's going to be a blowout on Tuesday, I think the CEO or somehow the guys that are responsible for the development of the club had to find the emergency break, have to release Marco Rose simply. And imagine if this is not the case, and then we lose at Wolfsburg or don't take away a win versus Wolfsburg again, that would mean 6 games without a win. And 6 games actually never happened. Never, ever happened in RBL's history.
Long history.
So you cannot argue anymore that we are still at 2-point-something points per game in the league, and that Marco Rose was the most successful coach in the history and so on. That doesn't count anymore. It's just the moment and development, and you have to, yes, as I said, find ways to stop that.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because in the local newspaper here in Leipzig, called the Leipziger Volkszeitung, they asked the question, when is the team finally going to stand behind the coach? Because even in light of poor performances like yesterday, the coach stood behind the team. He never threw them under the bus. Even yesterday in this interview with Sky, he said that at the moment, it is his responsibility to motivate the team, and the team clearly hadn't been as motivated as they should have been. And he took that in his stride. And the newspaper actually asked, well, when is the team actually going to show up and stand behind him with 100% performance and really fighting for him? So this would really support your thesis right there. Right there.
Maybe they don't want to.
Could be. So let's have a look and see how they perform in Tuesday. If they throw it away, that would be a shame, because I understand a lot of RBL supporters are actually on their way to Milano. And it would be a shame that they travel out all the way into a beautiful country, I know, and the city is nice as well. But if RB Leipzig then put in a performance like this, that would be dreadful. Who's going to be out on the pitch, my friend?
Liebe Fußballfans, wir kommen jetzt zu unserer heutigen Mannschaftsaufstellung.
I'd send out the same 11 guys that we saw yesterday.
Okay, let's stop.
So Saturday. Okay. Gulaschi, Hendricks, Orban, Lukeberg, Klostermann, Kampel. But now I would exchange Haidara for Vermeeren, to be honest, because, this experience thing and setting up a 19-year-old guy in midfield, I think it's not a good idea. So Nusa, Shesko, Openda, and Baumgartner. And then let it roll, and yes.
See what happens.
And then, just let it happen.
So what's the scoreline going to be?
6-0.
To be honest, I can't see it. I can't see it happening that it's going to be tight and it's going to be a 4-1 to Inter. We're going to score 1. Come on. 1 should be there.
An own goal again?
I'll forget it. Maybe a penalty. And I don't know, Gulashi takes it for a change. Anyways, we have to get through this, people. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We're still going to support them. And Saturday we'll be there and still cheer him on and say hello to Hasi because he was actually a good coach as well. Thank you for listening. This has been Bulls in Red, RB Leipzig podcast in English, at home in Leipzig, made for you wherever you are. We are on several social media platforms. We're on Instagram, X, Twitter, where else we are now, Blue Sky as well. And you can find our episodes on Apple, Spotify, and also YouTube. Guys, let's get through this together. We'll talk to you again by the end of the week. Richard, vielen Dank. Thank you, Richard. And auf geht's, Leipziger Jungs!